This will be an angel hour reading for the soul journey that is connecting to the angel hour of 1515 or 315. If you've been seeing this number repeated in your life, or you have noticed significant events taking place in your life around this time, then this reading is for you. And the message we have here is be flexible. The angel hour 1515 represents the importance of adaptability and flexibility. The angels are urging you to be open to new experiences and to embrace the opportunities that come your way. By being adaptable, you can navigate through change with grace and ease. Okay, and then now let's get into the soul journey that is significant to your current journey in life. We have colonial America, 1607 to 1776 CE. And this is the age of early European settlements in the New World, leading to the American Revolution. So we can see what looks like a pretty developed town, or very small city, possibly. Looks to be like maybe a government building in the distance there, and then maybe a large home, maybe an estate here in the time of colonial America. Right, and let's see what you may have been doing in that time, what your occupation might have been, so we can see kind of a clearer picture of the life journey that we are connecting to. And we have farmer. This one seems to come out often. Someone who works the land, sowing crops, harvesting, and raising livestock. So it's a very fitting occupation for this time. Colonial America is very closely associated with the holiday of Thanksgiving, which is all about the produce of the land and how important that was for the survival of everyone at that time. Let's take a look at what 3 themes were important in this past lifetime. We have spiritual devotion, a life centered on spiritual or religious practice, perhaps in service to a deity or community. Okay, and we know that a lot of the movement of people to the New World was the draw of being able to practice religions that were slightly different without being persecuted. And we have unhealed trauma, a traumatic experience that was not healed in the past, continuing to affect emotional well-being. Okay, so that was an element of this life that was left unaddressed. And then we also have guilt, living with worry and the emotional burden of guilt from past actions or mistakes. Okay, so, the spiritual devotion, that is really beautiful. That may have even, led to the journey of going to colonial America if the life did not start out as a new birth in the new world. But in this life, the negative experiences were unhealed trauma and guilt. So maybe some type of trauma that there was a negative feeling around having caused it, taking on some type of burden of creating the trauma that was experienced, whether or not it was yours or that of another. And maybe it was both. Maybe there was trauma that you experienced that led you to also affect others with some similar trauma. Okay, so in addition to the angel hour that's there to connect you to this reading, and the motivation that it may give for you in your current life's journey, you may also see a similar type of pattern developing in your current life's journey. But before we kind of get into those patterns that have appeared here, let's see how this life ended in the past. And we have old age. You lived a long and fulfilling life, passing peacefully at an advanced age. And yet, you dealt with unhealed trauma and guilt. And hopefully that wasn't something that was carried into the old age, but as this is appearing in the read like this, it may very well have. Let's take a look at a Lenormand to kind of get a little bit more information on what the trauma might have been, or what the situation was around it. With the way that the cards came out, the other reason why I'm thinking this is unresolved, besides the fact that it's appearing here in this read, we have spiritual devotion that came out first, and then unhealed trauma and guilt. So and if it had come out in the opposite order, with spiritual devotion coming after some unhealed trauma, but really this card is one of something that was left unfinished. So that really is the message. So, but let's get a little bit more clarity on what this may have involved, so you can see if this is something that has started to develop in your own life. And we have the Tower, isolation, institutions, authority. So maybe this was a situation where instead of connecting with others, isolation was instead sought into old age. And we have at the bottom here, bouquet, that is connected to beauty, joy, gifts, creativity, and hope. So maybe you hoped that there would be some opportunity in your isolation. You stayed within a hope that somehow, some way, you would have had the opportunity to heal this trauma, heal the guilt, that existed in the past, and yet that time never came, all the way into old age. And now, are you finding yourself in a similar situation? Let's see. Let's take a tarot. I want to pull just to see like who the others involved with you may have been. To maybe get a little more of an indication of the other individuals here involved. What their mood, or what were they like, and really, how were they? What was their part in this? Who was it? Who was it, and what was their part? Really, what is, for the others involved, who were they? Others involved in this unhealed trauma and guilt. Who were they? Who was the other party involved in this situation? Okay, we have a few. I'm going to look at them. Three of Swords. I just want to point that out. Three of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I think this is something significant. We have Two of Cups. So another individual who may have been sort of maybe an opposite, but there was companionship and a close connection within the relationship. And then we have the Sun, but in the reverse. So there was sadness here, or there was a difficulty to have any happiness. We have that in the reverse. And then we have the Devil. Something toxic, unhealed trauma that fits perfectly. That it's some type of, I'm noticing too here the puppy. So maybe something from youth, from a young age, where as an individual, either your past journey as an individual, you were in a state of not healing from some awful trauma, and you brought that onto another individual, or they brought that onto you. And the ending of it was one where the matter was not resolved, even though there was hope that it should be resolved. That didn't happen. And so this message is now coming forward. And with the Three of Swords in the reverse, it's almost like just having a kind of, a motivation to move that forward, move away, get away from the Three of Swords, from the sadness. And maybe some part of that is letting go of something, because we have the Strength in the reverse following immediately after that. I'm going to take just one more card for maybe a little bit of a narrowing down on the timing here of when you might be able to reach resolution on this maybe guilt that you might have seen yourself falling into in this current life journey at this time. If you're dealing with these same energies, when might you have an opportunity to overcome and actually have the gift of maybe reconciliation or healing of this trauma that was never healed in the past? There's an opportunity now that is coming up where, and you know, with this angel hour too, being flexible, right? Isolating oneself is not being flexible. You isolate yourself to a tower. You are not being flexible. You're not opening the way and the hope for healing and coming together with another that was important to you in the past. And so, if that same energy is now at play in your life, you know, a farmer would be on their own self-sufficient, able to nourish themselves, and even in isolation, they could almost be an island. Surrender to the divine full moon at the bottom of the deck there. And what we have is blue moon, believe in the impossible. And there's another one. There is another one here. Don't let your past hold you back, the South Node. Okay, so when is the next blue moon? So that's when we have, within the same month, we have, is it 2 full moons? I'm thinking that's confirmed by the picture of the full moon there. So yeah, look into when the next blue moon is, and that might be the opportune time to make some sort of gesture, maybe with a bouquet, to create hope for healing, and believe in the impossible. So even if you're dealing with very negative energies, or the guilt is heavy that you're carrying, believe that you may receive forgiveness. You may be able to heal a situation that you may have caused, or one that you are spiritually aware enough to see the need to transmute the negative energy and create something that might seem impossible at this moment. Hopefully not completely. But the other, what was behind this message to believe in the impossible is don't let your past hold you back. It's already happened before, all the way to old age, okay? So you have an opportunity in this lifetime to make the change, believe in the impossible, and make this life something that the angels will celebrate for you. And that's all I have for you. All the best.